Welcome back to another NBA breakdown. Today is Thursday, January 15th, and we got another NBA slate here where I'm going to break down the points market for every single game that we've got on the slate, except for the Grizzlies Magic, which starts here in about an hour and a half, 2 hours. It's an early game because I think it's being played in Germany or something, so we're going to skip that one because most people who are seeing this video, probably that game will have already started, so there's no point. But if you haven't yet, make sure you drop a like, a comment, subscription, whatever it is. I hope these videos are helpful. I get a lot of positive feedback on it. Especially for the MLB one. So make sure you guys drop that like, comment, and subscription so we can keep posting these every single day, or as many days as we possibly can. Yesterday was a great day. Yesterday was a great day. Took 10 straights. Sorry, one of them got voided because the guy didn't play. 7-2 on the 9 that actually suited up and played, and 28.56% ROI on our plays yesterday. So, what we took, just to recap. I posted all these in the WAP, so if you haven't joined yet, wap.com/rudebets. Use code RUDE for 25% off or code 25OFF, 25OFF if you're a returning member. But if you're a new member, use code RUDE and you get 25% off. And these are the straights we took. So Mikal Bridges under on points, that missed. Miles Bridges over on points, that missed. Those were our only two misses. They were both on the Knicks. Then from there, PJ Washington under points. Saddiq Bey over 14 points. Claxton under 13.5. Poole under 12.5. Igor Demin over 10.5. Nurkic over 13.5. He didn't play. Ayo over 12.5. Mobley under 17.5. Oubre under 10.5. Tyson over 9.5. And McConnell over 10.5. Awesome day. It was an awesome day. 7-2-1, 28% ROI. So come join the WAP if you haven't. And let's go ahead and dive into these points markets today and see what we can find. Once again, just a quick disclaimer, it is early in the day. There are injury reports that will come out, so these projections will change. These reads potentially will change, but it's always nice to get an early read and take some early value where we can. Starting with Ausar Thompson. So his points line is 11.5. This off the bat looks like a good under. I try to find areas where the model here that you would get access to, by the way, when you join the WAP, you get access to this tool right here. This application right here on my left screen, you get access to. I like to look for projections where there's about 2 points of a differential, which is Ausar Thompson here at 11.5. He meets that criteria. Projections 9.4, so that's 2 points difference. So the Ausar Thompson under 11.5 points looks to me like it's a pretty solid play. Let's click on his name and just verify this matchup here. So yeah, 7th hardest matchup for points. They allow 5% less per game. His last 5, he's barely scratching 10. Doesn't really matter because those aren't all against the same opponent, but it's just good to see kind of his usage, his volume. Other thing I like to look at the top of his player page is expected field goal attempts and free throws. So 10.5, not even enough to get to his magic 1 field goal free throw attempt per point needed to clear a line. So, and he only shoots 4% of his shots from 3. This is overall a play that I do like for the under. Ausar Thompson, 11.5. I'm going to go ahead and lock that in right now while we're going through this. So let me do this real quick. Bada boom, bada bing. And there we go. You can see here, the best place doesn't really matter because no one has access to parlay plus 116 for its under, which would be crazy. But DraftKings minus 116, yeah, there's some good spots for it. Cade Cunningham, 26. I don't like to look at guys over about like 15, 16 points, maybe 17 for overs. I think you get just a sketchy territory, a bad shooting night, and it's not even going to come close. So 26.5 out of my threshold for what I'd look at. Gillespie, nothing there at 11.5 with a projection of 10. Devin Booker, once again, too high. Dylan Brooks, once again, too high. Dylan Brooks, though, I'll tell you what, I was cashing him out at like the 14.5 line every single game in the first few weeks of the season. I'm glad they moved his line up to 19.5 for his sake because that's where it should be, but there's nothing there. Duncan Robinson, 9.5, nothing there. Grayson, 12.5. Yeah, pretty similar to where we got him, slightly into the over. Isaiah Stewart, 7.5. Now, this is a play I kind of like, but the only problem here is Jalen Duren is back. So this is one, he's probably with an illness too. I mean, he's sick. Duren's back. I know the projection looks good for Isaiah Stewart. I'm going to pass on this play. I will be passing on this play, but I wouldn't blame people if they took him over 7.5 points. But the Duren thing is just a little something I'm not interested in. Mark Williams, 10.5. Nothing there. Royce O'Neal, 9.5. and Tobias 10.5. Nothing. So overall, really the only play in this game for points that I like is that Asar Thompson under. But once again, you can replicate this exact process. If you go join wap.com/RudeBets and get into this NBA app right here, you can replicate my exact process for any stat. So I'm doing only points, but you can come do this exact thing for assists, for rebounds, for threes, for PRA, for RA, any of it, right? So come join and get access to the app and start building your own plays is what I would recommend. And yeah, because for me, for these videos, to keep them in that like 20 to 30 minute range, I really want to just only focus on one stat, which is points. And that's what I really main anyway. I think it's controllable by the player more so than assists or rebounds. Reminds me in baseball of like taking hits versus taking RBIs. You know, for hits, directly controlled by the batter. For RBIs, it's kind of required that someone else does their job to get on base and is in the right position and all that stuff. So that's kind of how I feel about like assists. It's like, okay, the guy can pass the ball to an open shooter all day, but if the guy isn't making the shot, then it's out of that player's control. Anyway, Andrew Wiggins. 13.5, yeah, pretty sharp there. 12.5 for Simons. Maybe a slight lean to the over for Anthony Simons. I don't like it at the minus 140 number, though. Bam Adebayo, 15.5. That potentially is an under. 9th ranked defensive matchup versus his position. He did have a huge game in his last time out. That's an interesting one. 13th, 29 points. His minutes have stayed the same. What's his shot volume look like for today? 12.72 shots. Look, man, Bam, 15.5 points. Does anybody key out? Wiggins, Powell, Ware, they're all in. Hero. They're all playing, man. That Celtics defense against the center, I mean, yeah, I'm actually kind of interested in Bam under the 15.5 point mark. It is sketchy because Bam is such I don't know. I feel like Bam is a very volatile player. Like the guy can go crazy. That 29. Here's the thing with that 29-point game. I know it's against Phoenix. It's his last game out, so I wonder if that like sparked like a motivation in him to like step it back up because his games before that was 12, 7, 13, and 6. He was coming nowhere near this 15.5 line. Then he goes and drops 29 points. A pretty big spike. Is Bam back to being a 20-point a game guy? You know what I mean? Like that's my concern here. He hasn't done much all year. That 29-point game and his most recent game scares me. So potentially Bam on the under today is a decent read, but it is sketchy. Derek White 19, Hawkes 13.5. Nah, nothing there. Ware 8.5, yeah, nothing there. Luka Garza 7.5. Luka Garza 7.5 could be decent. I don't mind Luka Garza. He has no data because he hasn't played this team, but it's his last 5 games are 8-11, 6-11, and 6. So over, under. 3 out of 5, he's cleared this line. Once again, that doesn't matter too much because it's against Chicago, Denver, Toronto, San Antonio, and Indiana. It's not against the Miami Heat, but the Miami Heat versus position are 19th. They're ranked 19th, but what are his minutes? Last 5 games, he's playing 20 minutes a game, and we got him getting about just under the 1 shot per point mark that we need. I don't hate Luka at 7.5. I don't mind it. I'm going to take it, but I do think this is a bit of a shakier play as well. These guys with these lower point totals around the 7.5 mark, under 10 for the most part. They're not high volume guys. Like, look, but who is he competing with here for volume? Brown, White, Pritchard, Queta, Simons. Those guys are going to be on the starting rotation probably. Maybe Hauser in there instead. But for that second rotation, I mean, yeah, he does seem to have a decent chance of getting some volume up. And against the matchup here, the 19th overall, I mean, I don't hate it. I think I'm going to take the Luka play, but I'm going to go a little bit lighter than I would on a normal straight. But I think there's some value in it. I do think there's some value in it. Queta at 9.5, nothing there. Powell 21.5 is too high for me. Pritchard 16.5, yeah, nothing there. Hauser 9.5, nothing there. And you guys can see when I say nothing there, like that just, I guess this is indicative of how sharp the model is. We're not looking to find hundreds of plays a day because that would just mean that I have an unrealistic model if there's 100 plays that have a large variance from the actual line. You have to realize these are markets here. These are being traded. These prices, these lines are being traded back and forth, overs and unders, which will move them into a place where it's almost like a crowdsourced value of the likely outcome. So the fact that my model is really close on a lot of these lines means that the model is pretty dialed in with the crowdsourced consensus where these guys will end up. And that's why these guys end up, generally within half a point or a point of their line. And you're like, how the heck does Vegas know? It's just because it's crowdsourced information from thousands of people a day, thousands of models a day, right? And the sharp money moves that into a place that's really good. So the people like myself who are really sharp and have good models, they help drive where these lines go. The fact that mine are so close just means that my model is outstanding. So once again, come join wap.com/shrewdbets and get access to it. You're not going to find a model like this anywhere else. You're not going to find a sharp model anywhere else that you guys can use at your leisure. So highly recommend you join and get it. But outside that Luka Garza play, not a whole lot there for points either. OKC versus Houston. AJ Mitchell, 11.5. You could take it. It's only 1 point difference here, but I mean, I think he probably lands in that 12 range. He's pretty consistent there. Don't mind it. Alex Caruso, 6.5. Would not go over on that. Sengun, 20.5 is too high for me. I don't like that line, but honestly, this could be a potential under. Third ranked versus his position. He does have some really good games against Oklahoma City, though, in the past. A 31 and a 39-point game. That's pretty crazy. 28, 20, 0, 19, 23. His last 5, he's averaging 15 points. Last 10, 19.2. It's really just about the matchup here. I think I might actually take the under for Sengun because of that matchup. That matchup is driving me to want to take it, so I'm going to. Although he has been cooking. I will not lie. But let's just see, is like Chet questionable or something? No. Yeah. I think it's a really good defensive matchup for an under here. But once again, similar to that Bam play, the guy's cooking right now. It's a bit sketchy. But on a day so far where we haven't found much value, I'm willing to take the risk on that. Amen Thompson over 17.5. That could be a decent over. His matchup also is the third hardest. But look at these numbers. 20, 17, 24, 24, 23. And his shot volume today, 20.56. So he can get there easily on shots alone. I'm going to take the Amen Thompson over. But only because of the shot volume. His defensive matchup is actually really tough here. He's going to have to get some easy buckets. He's going to have to get some really easy buckets at the rim. Kind of those driving cuts, things like that. Someone finds him cutting to the rim, dunks, things of that nature. It is a very tough matchup, but at 17.5, I think they're giving us enough points there. It's just under the 2 points that I want to see. If he was at 19.5 here, I'd be really happy about this play, but it's close enough where I'm willing to take that risk again. Cason Wallace, 6.5. That's another one that potentially could be an under. Cason Wallace, potential underplay here. 2-4 out 3-6. He hasn't hit it in his last 5. What's that matchup look like for him? Houston's a pretty decent team, 4th ranked defensively. Yeah, I mean, I like the case. He only needs to make 3 shots really to get there, essentially, as long as one of them's a 3. But Cason Wallace on the under 6.5. Very, very, very difficult because of how low that total is, but it's got some value in it. It has a little bit of value in it with that defensive matchup. Chet 15.5. No, Chet unders too could be decent today. Game is kind of, it's got number 1 ranked defensive matchup. My God. Although he has cooked against the Rockets too. 29, 11, 20, and 28. 15.5. His last 5 is averaging 16. Last 10, 17. He's right around that number, but I'll probably stay away from the Chet today. It's a really good defensive matchup, but I don't want to be on a ton of unders in this game. Somebody's going to score, you know what I mean? So, but I wouldn't blame you guys if you wanted to take the Chet under. Jabari Smith, 14.5 is probably another under. Let's guess. Yeah, not quite. Jalen Williams, 17.5. It's another one that's close to being an under. Another one that's close. AD, 24.5. Nothing there. Reed, 9.5. I like Reed Shepherd over 9.5. Let's see what we're looking at here. He's only cleared it twice his last 5, but Let's see the shot volume. Yeah, 11 field goal attempts to get to 9. I don't mind it. I like the Reed Shepherd over here. I do like it. See, this game's got a lot of value in it now. This game's got a lot of value in it. Not bad. Not bad. Matchup isn't terrible. 13th. It's not even top 10, so. Jay, 30.5. That's a high number. I don't think he gets there, but. And then Steven Adams, 5.5. Nothing there. And then Bucks Spurs. Man, what's happening with the Bucks? 9.5 for AJ Green, nothing there. Bobby Portis, 11.5, nothing there. De'Aaron Fox, 18, nothing there. Harper, 9.5. I mean, that's a high number, right? Is somebody out? How's Harper's number 9.5? Vassell, I don't see Vassell. Dylan Harper numbers got me stuck. He did have 12 versus OKC on the 13th. Go look at ESPN. I want to see if Vassell played. Let's look at his game log here. When did he get out? Oh, he's been out for a while. See if Harper got a minute bump. A minute bump, not a minute. Usage minute bump. 26, so he did get a minute bump. See, these are hard plays for me to take. If you look at this right here, 18 minutes, 20 minutes, 22, 11, 26. He's all over the place on his minutes. He was hovering around 20 for a while, then they dropped him to 11, then they bumped him to 26. So that makes it difficult for me to be confident in a play like the Dylan Harper under. I don't hate it. But the fact that he's... I'm going to take it, but the fact that he is inconsistent with his minutes is a bit sketchy. Wait, it's 8.5. Where's his 9.5 number? Well, I don't even have a 9.5 number here. So if you can find the 9.5, I would take it. I would not take the 8.5. If you can find the 9.5 number for Dylan Harper, I'll take it. So I'll wait for that to go back up on MGM and go from there. But I'm not taking 8.5. I'll take him under 9.5. Gary Trent, 6.5. Nothing there. Harrison Barnes, 9.5. Ooh, that's another one under 9.5 for Harrison Barnes. I don't mind that. Well, I'm pretty sure he's cooked the Bucks. Let's see if we have any history here. Yeah, he's cooked the Bucks, 14 and 16 in his last 2 games. I thought so. He has done well in this matchup. Champagny over 12.5. I do like that a lot. Champagny's been money this year. Keldon Johnson, 12.5. Another one I like. I'm going to take the Keldon points as well. Keldon and Champagny both have decent days today, I think. KPJ, Kevin Porter Jr., nothing there. Kuzma, 9.5. I wouldn't touch Kuzma ever. Fournette, 6.5. No. Miles Turner, I think he's back. 10.5. Nothing there. Ryan Rollins, 13.5. Nothing there. Castle, 16.5. Nothing there. And Wemby, 23.5. I mean, I wouldn't take it, but you could go under on Wemby today, I think. Yeah, tough matchup. Probably has Turner on him. Maybe a little bit of Giannis action. Not sure. But yeah, I think that's a high number for Wemby right now. The potential physicality. If the Bucks come out physical tonight, 20 field goal attempts too, only to get to 23.5 points. I'll take it under on Wemby. Why not? But it's a high number, so I don't hate it. All right, Jazz Mavericks. Sensabaugh went crazy last night. 13.5 is his line. Don't love it. Cooper, 21.5. That's an under, in my opinion. Does that line not exist, though? Oh, yeah, it doesn't exist on MGM. Okay. Gafford, 10.5. Nothing. Well, we don't have a line for him either. There's not a lot of lines out for the Dallas Mavericks right now. Collier, 7.5. Nurkic, 11.5. He didn't play last night. I don't know why. Is Nurkic questionable or something? He's not even on the injury report. But Markkanen's potentially back. I like the Nurkic play. I'm going to take it, but it's kind of weird that he didn't. I don't know why he didn't play last. Was it coach's decision? I haven't seen anything on it. Maybe they're just resting him for tonight. I don't know. But I do like the Nurkic 11.5 number. I think that's worth taking. K Love. Christie, 15.5. Nothing there. Najee, 17.5. Nothing there. And then PJ, 16.5. PJ Washington under 16.5. I like that again. But actually, hold on. I want to see the full injury report for Dallas. Why are these lines not up? Dallas, we have Cooper questionable. Okay. Wait. Yeah, we got to wait. Max Christie questionable. If these guys are out, if he's out with an illness, Max Christie, and if he's out, then yeah, PJ Washington's probably going well over. So I'm going to wait on that. Definitely not worth taking it. But that line is way too high without those injuries. So wait and see on that. Knicks Warriors, Al Horford, 6.5 points. Nothing there. Podziemski, 9.5, nothing there. Melton, 11.5, nothing there. Draymond, 8.5. Draymond's line's 8.5 every day. Gary Payton, 5.5. I like the Gary Payton numbers. I really do. I've been a fan of the Gary Payton numbers for a minute. They are very consistent. Gary Payton over 5.5. That's a very consistent number. I haven't lost, knock on wood. It's probably just been jinxed right now. Fair warning to all of you. But I haven't lost a Gary Payton bet in like over a season. Last year, I don't think I missed on him once. And this year, I haven't missed on him yet either. So we'll see. Brunson's questionable. Butler, no. Clarkson, 8.5. No. Hart, 11.5. Cat, we're not touching that. McCall, Bridges, well, once again, we got to wait and see on Brunson. This is another one of those things where if Brunson's out, you can't really take anybody on the Knicks today until we know about Brunson. So you just can't. You just cannot. Because if Brunson's out, okay, Clarkson goes up. McCall Bridges goes up. Hart goes up. Talent, like they all go up. So you got to wait on that. Hawks, Blazers, Caleb Love, 15.5. I mean, you could take it if you wanted to. You could take Caleb Love if you wanted to. Although I don't see a line for him, so that's great. He might be, I don't know. There's no lines for him anywhere, really. CJ McCollum, 16.5. Still not sure about him in that new role, so I'm not too sure about him in that new role yet. He had 25 in his last game. I think, I don't hate the McCollum number. 16.5. I'm going to take McCollum at 16.5. I think it's worth a flyer. He's been cooking. He's on a new team. I think he's in a good spot. But definitely, I would say I generally don't take guys who've just been traded. I generally don't. Because their role evolves. Corey Kispert, 8.5. Nah, it's close, but no. Klingon. Dyson Daniels, 12.5. Dyson Daniels hasn't made a 3 in like 2 months. Or a month. Jalen Johnson not taking. Jeremy Grant, 16.5. Jeremy Grant, 16.5. Oh, he's on a minutes restriction. Don't touch Jeremy Grant. Do not touch Jeremy Grant. He's on a minutes restriction. Drew Holiday 12.5. He also is on a restriction. Alexander Walker 20.5. Nothing there. Kongwu, nothing there. Robert Williams, Sharp, not touching. Kamara, Kumani, nothing there. And then Vit, nothing there. So, and then Charlotte Hornets, Los Angeles Lakers. Brandon Miller, 19.5, nothing there. Colin Sexton, 11.5. It's close. It's close. I would lean towards the over on that one, but I'm not going to take that. It's not in my threshold. DeAndre Ayton, nothing. Gabe Vincent, almost, but nothing. Grant Williams, not touching that. Back from injury. No shot. LaRavia, 10.5. Nope. Vanderbilt, 4.5. Nope. Hayes, 5.5. Yes. The Jackson Hayes, 5.5. I do like. Jackson Hayes, 5.5. I do like. When he plays, he scores a lot of easy buckets. Okay, Josh Green, 3.5. That's not touching that too low. Con, 17. LaMelo, 19.5. Luka, 33.5. Not touching. That's way too high. Marcus Smart, 8.5. Nope. Bridges, 16.5. Honestly, Bridges, yeah, well, he's playing injured, so that's another tough one. Another tough one. I would lean towards the under for Bridges with the injury and stuff, but yeah, I think it's worth taking, honestly. I think Bridges under 16.5 is definitely worth taking. Playing a little banged up. Tough matchup. I don't mind it. And he hasn't really done much in his last few outings, so. Diabate, 9.5. Potential under there if you want. Diabate on the under is actually not terrible. Let's look at Musa. 10, 10, 13 in his last 3 games. So he has been cooking a little bit in his last 3. But I don't mind the Musa under if you really wanted to. Rui, 7.5. Nothing there. Nothing for Kalkbrenner. And then Sion James, nothing there. All right, so we got some decent plays so far, pre-injury news. Once again, join wap.com/RudeBets. Come back around like 5 p.m., 6 p.m. Eastern, like an hour before the game start, and look for the injury updates, or look at the model again once the injuries have been re-updated, and you'll see some significant changes probably based on who's in and out. Well, based on who's out. Like if Brunson's out, you're going to see a lot of changes on the Knicks. If Brunson's still in, nothing changes. Same thing with the Dallas Mavericks. If Cooper and Max Christie are out, you're going to see some changes for like P.J. Washington. If they're still in, P.J. Washington under is a good play. So, yeah, we'll check those out. And then if we just look at the over projections, look at first baskets here for all the lotto lovers out there. Jalen Williams against the Houston Rockets for first baskets, not bad. Castle for the Bucks, not bad. I like to see like closer to 20%. These aren't insanely good value plays for first baskets. They're just not great. So overall today, I don't think it's a super good day for first baskets. I mean, Bam's all right against the Celtics, but only 12%. Like these guys are around like plus 500. So there's not much of an edge or any sort of advantage or value on first baskets today. It looks like maybe Jalen Williams. Let me look at like let me just take a gander real quick. We'll just see how it looks. Oh, we do have a no sweat token. Okay, so let's look at no sweat. First field goal. Jalen Williams plus 575. It's not terrible. Bam plus 525. It's not terrible. And Castle plus 650. These aren't horrible. For a no sweat. For a no sweat, it's not terrible. Yeah. I don't hate it. That no sweat, by the way, does have to have a same game parlay. I just realized, so I'm gonna have to tinker with that. But yeah. And then once again, if you guys are using the tool, you can use this to look at like any sort of stat category. You can sort by assist, who's the highest assist guy, highest points guy. You can search anybody's name, right? So like type Rui, boom. So if you don't want to go through each game individually, you can just quickly do it through here as well. So Good luck today. Once again, drop that subscription, like, and comment. I appreciate y'all for being here, for tuning in. I hope these videos help you out and you got some good value. I like to hear from y'all in the comments, and I'll catch y'all tomorrow. Peace out.